Peace, Root Folk. I hope everybody enjoyed their Virgo Full Moon. It was a time for a lot of shifting. You know, we as human beings are very, very susceptible to the moon's influence. You know, the moon likes to just kind of hit us in certain areas and then kind of keep moving. Remember, we're made up of mostly water, and the moon's gravitational pull and its energetic influence can cause things to happen, not just in our coincidences, but also in our minds and our emotional body that, you know, we may not be ready for. One thing I saw that sort of emerged was a tightening up of loose pieces, things that were out of place being put in place by a lot of people, especially people who are mature enough to work with that energy. Virgo is a planet is a constellation, is an energy for grown-ups. Okay, it's for grown-ups who are trying to manage their lives. We're dealing with mutable earth here. All right. And with mutable earth, we're talking about an earth that can be adjusted, earth that can be transformed, earth that can be molded in a way that is the most effective. Okay. And so when we're dealing with Virgo here, it's also dealing with the mind as well. You know, since the ruler of Virgo is Mercury, you know, there's going to be a lot of mental processes going on here while you're trying to shape the earth, shape the coincidences, and shape the way that you show up, not just in your body, but in your life, the way that things are organized, the way things are being moved, you know, are going to be very much influenced by how your thinking is and just your maturity all around. Consider this, okay? Your mind is affected by the moon, okay? And if that gravitational pull and that energetics is strong, remember the brain is mostly water, okay? But the other point I want to make here is that there's a difference between a grown-up and an adult, okay? Every human being over the age of pretty much 18 is an adult. But every person over the age of 18 is not a grown-up. You know, it's a big difference. And this is a very, very good energy for people who are grown-ups to work with, okay? I was talking to my son the other day. Me and him were sitting in a car, all right? And we're sitting in this car, and we just start thinking, right? We start talking. I said, Orion, think about this car as your mind. Think about this car as a mind. Let's do it like that. Okay, and as you see, I am the grown-up in the car, and I'm driving. You're in the passenger seat. What would happen if I were to let you drive, Orion? And he's, you know, he doesn't want to look bad, so he didn't want to answer me. I said, no, really, what would happen if I were to let you drive? And he said, well, Dad, I don't know how to drive. I don't know the rules of the road, so I'd probably crash. And I said, well, that is very true. I said, does that mean that you're useless in the car? Or can you still be helpful? You know, does your presence still make me happy? He's like, yeah. You know, we talk, we have a good time, we joke. You know, I play in my game system. I look out the window. I said, right, as useful as you are, you cannot be in the driver's seat. And I said, Orion, this car right now, as it is what maturity looks like. This is what a grown-up looks like, where the mature part of the self, the part that has been through it, the experienced part of us is driving our cars. Meanwhile, the childish mind, that doesn't have a care in the world, you know, the inner child, is in its proper place in the passenger seat. And I told Orion, I said, every adult is not a grown-up. There are many adults where, because I was like, in your vehicle right now, there isn't an adult. You're a child, okay? So we're looking at this car metaphor is your mind, is the mind of an adult, okay? And the difference between an adult mind is that the adult is in the passenger seat and the child is driving. So the car is like the power that comes with being an adult, right? You can vote, you can get married, you can, have, you can start a family. I mean, you can start a family earlier than that, but you get my symbolism here. The car represents the power that comes with being an adult, okay? And that power gives you access to things, right? That power gives you access to things. And with that power, you want the grown-up driving, not the child. Okay? And in a immature adult, it's switched. They're letting the child drive too much. The child has no idea what to do with all that power. The child's going to follow his heart no matter what. No matter what the consequence is. My son is a very good example of a child. As smart as he is, he can read at, a college level. He's a brilliant child. He can break down puzzles, but his impulses are just outlandish. My son will go up to a button and just push it. Orion, why'd you do that? I don't know. Orion, where are your socks? Where are your socks? It's snowing outside. I don't know. Orion, you didn't shut the door. You didn't shut my car door. You're not going to shut the door? Oh, sorry if I didn't. Dad, I couldn't sleep last night. Why couldn't you sleep last night, Orion? Because I snuck upstairs and ate Cheetos, and then my stomach started to hurt, and why'd you eat Cheetos? We're dairy. We're lactose intolerant. Dad, can we have candy? Orion, we haven't even had breakfast. You see what I'm saying? Bouncing around. He's bouncing. Orion, do you have to use the bathroom? Hold on, Dad, I'm trying to beat this level. Orion, do you have to use the bathroom? I have to beat this level. See, in the mind of a child, the emotions are God. Whatever's emotionally stimulating, whatever tugs on the emotions, whatever is powerful in the moment is more important than the pattern for a child. But for an adult, not an adult, but a grown-up, okay? For a grown-up, we know this truth. And the truth is that there is magic in the moment. We know that. Each moment is jam-packed with magic. And we can get caught up in that magic, whether it was a past moment or a now moment or something where, we're going to experience later, whatever. These moments are magic. A guy brings you flowers, that's magic. Saying I do at the altar, that's magic. But the truth is in the pattern. It's in the pattern, the ups and the downs, the highs and the lows, baby. The highs and the lows. That's where the truth is. And this Virgo moon, this Virgo full moon, is helping us to see the patterns that the inner child refuses to see. Just think, I hear people all the time. Why did my mom do this to me? She yelled at me again. Grown-ups, adults saying this. My mom yelled at me again when I brought up my true beliefs. I'm sick of it. Why did she do this? Why are you surprised? Hasn't your mom been doing that your whole life? Well, yeah, but why are you continuously putting yourself in a position for your mother to abuse you in the same way in hopes of a different reaction for something that is not patternistic? Sometimes what we do is we allow these boxes, we allow these boxes of what we think someone should be. Oh, a mom should be this, a dad should be this, blah, blah, blah. We let it take away from the pattern of what they've truly shown. And so by getting into this illusionary state, we don't see the pattern. Okay? It's like the guy who says, you know what? My girl caught me cheating. I'm going to propose to her. There he goes, putting his faith in a moment. He's going to propose to her. Everyone's going to go, oh, wow, say yes, say yes. He's truly different. You see, he has a ring. But that's not how patterns work. If you're addicted to having women on the side, that doesn't change in a moment. Now, sure, there's an exception to every rule. Maybe there's miraculous changes that happen from time to time. But in general, a cheater is a cheater. A smoker is a smoker. A drinker is a drinker. Until the pattern shifts. And the Virgo energy, the energy of this time period, the energy of the moon where it was, March 8th and 9th, was trying to tell you to expand your mind to see a much wider pattern. Not the moment, not the, I'm sorry, oh, I forgive you. I'm sorry, oh, I forgive you. Not that moment, but the actions. Are you putting yourself in position for a certain action? For a certain, are you setting yourself up for disappointment? In Virgo, we're dealing with the now. We're dealing with reality, okay? And the reality is in the pattern. We're grounded. We're looking. We're paying attention. Because there's a lot of things that feel good up front. They feel real good up front. But we can't get a state of amnesia. We can't let that spaciness pop in. Okay, we can't let that illusion pop in. That's a whole nother journey. Okay, but some of us have gotten way too far into the illusion where Virgo is trying to snap us back, from the realm of Pisces into the realm of what's real. Because we're allowing ourselves and our belief systems to beat us up because we refuse to see that the magic is in the moment, but the truth is in the pattern. Okay? And also, back on this whole adults versus grown-ups thing, we have to realize that our emotional bodies are just as solid as any physical body. Our mental bodies are just as substantial as the physical body. Okay? All the realms of us, all the multi-dimensional aspects of you are substantial. They all carry equal weight. Okay? So let's take a look at the emotional body. Because we have a mis sort of understanding that all adults are growing like this. People don't grow like this. No, we grow like this. Okay? So there's our mental space. Here's our body growing up. Here's our emotions growing up. Here's our intuition growing up. Excuse me. Here's our psychic ability growing up. All these things are growing at different rates. And if this is the emotions, let's say this is the emotions, okay? Some of us are growing like this, where there was a severe injury to the emotions that has you stagnant there, okay? Or has someone stagnant there, okay? What I'm trying to tell you is that just because someone is a large size doesn't mean they're an emotional grown-up. And you can see that if you've ever been in one of those relationships where someone just like, you tell that person no and they want to stomp around and break things. Like, oh, you got a 2-year-old in there in the driver's seat. Okay? Don't get it mistaken. You know, emotional maturity is just as important as any other type of maturity. I mean, in our society, we love, oh, his IQ. There's people that'll blow you out with their mental power, but have no emotional stability. There's people with great psychic abilities that can see into the future, communicate with other worlds, do all these great things. But at the end of the day, they don't have any morality. Okay, that piece of them did not grow. So they're trying to scam you and do all this stuff, and you thinking that they're more divine because of a gift they have. Okay, so let's dig into this. Let's talk about this Virgo. You know, this getting grounded and shaping things. Okay, I've been seeing this, man. I've been seeing this. I know a guy who had a love at first sight moment. Okay, he saw this girl back in high school. He's like, man, she's the one. But every time he hooked up with her, because first she treated him bad anyway, but he was like, you're the one. Love at first sight, love at first sight, love at first sight. Love at first sight is a moment. Love at first sight is a moment. There's no truth in it. Not if you can't see the moment reoccurring in the pattern, okay? So, love at first sight, but she never, the chemistry was never there, okay? So she would diss him, she would disappear, she would go have kids, you know, come back to him. Oh, I'm in love, love at first sight, love at first sight. Oh, she's back, she gone again. She treated him bad. She cussed him out. She cussed out his mama, you know. Oh, now she's back. Love at first sight, love at first sight, love at first sight. Do you see the pattern here? She's gone again. She's back. Oh, one of her exes comes and beats him up. Now he's beaten up. He's all bruised. Oh my God, love at first sight, love at first sight, love at first sight. Don't let these thought forms control your life. That's a thought form. Thought form gets put into you, bam. And you create this emotional bubble around it that protects that thought form. So even though this thing is beating you up, anytime you try to focus on the thought form, it's hazy and you can't get through the emotional bubble that's around it. So you make any and every excuse to keep on moving with it. We got to crush these things by looking at the patterns. We cannot be run by thought forms. Okay? And we cannot keep expecting people to operate outside of their patterns so we can continue to be abused by that. Just like if someone gets their arm cut off, they can keep growing and growing and growing and growing, but that arm ain't growing back. That's not there. Same thing emotionally. Some people are emotionally stunted. So you're sitting there wasting your energy yelling at this person, telling this person over and over and again, crying, but why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this to me? But you refuse to see that they're emotionally severed. They're missing pieces of their soul that you're not going to get back in an argument. You're not going to get back because you cried. Go let that person heal somewhere. Okay? Because there's another thing going around where people think they have to let everybody heal all up close to them. It's like, no, you can love some people from a distance. Go let them learn, especially if it's going to destroy your world. Okay? Another situation. I mean, sometimes it gets even weirder than that. I know a situation where the guy is in love with the girl. And whenever he sees the girl, he's in a relationship. And they always fall for each other. But then, you know, he has to go off somewhere and try to make the relationship he already has work. But he thinks about the other girl all the time. Later on, they bump into each other again. Bam. You know, but all the space where he was single, they didn't meet up. Guess when they met up? When he had another girl again. So then there's that there's that struggle. She disappears. Gone, gone, gone. He dates. She comes back and he has another girl again. Do you see the pattern here? These two people are both being damaged because they're expecting something other than the pattern, but the pattern keeps saying no. Anytime you guys come together, your stars are crossed. So you will always have issues there. So leave it alone. Virgo said, leave it alone. Leave it alone. You guys can't have each other. Not in this lifetime. Your stars are crossed. You know what I'm saying? And you just got to make peace with it. Stars get crossed. You can't have everything. Everything ain't yours. Virgo wants you to know that everything ain't yours. Just because you see somebody else shining with this thing, you know, someone else is a great boxer or a great fighter, that your destiny is to fight. It isn't. Not if it ain't yours. Like in this America, we have this sort of like belief that whatever you want, just go get it. Sure. But there's people that are destined for certain things. They're destined. And you can see it in the pattern. It's always been a part of them. This boxing kid, he was boxing pillows at 1 year old. He was kicking poles walking down the street. He beat up the family dog. He was walking. He beat up the school bully, like leading all the way up to this, you know, this whole life story where bam, he has one big fight and, you know, he's just blowing up. But while he's blowing up, you look over and say, oh, I want that too. But it wasn't your destiny. So you have so many roadblocks trying to get over there. You just like, you know, you stub your toe the first time you're on your way to the gym. You get in there, you start punching the bag, you know, but the bag hits you in the face, you know, and then your bag gets stolen at the boxing gym. You know, you just get all these signs that like, that ain't your path, you know. Not saying you can't work out, but all the glory that this other man has may not be your path. Everybody wants to be a rapper. Everybody wants to be a basketball player. You know, some of us in this lifetime are meant to be in the background. This life wasn't for you to be out in front. And you keep getting all the signs saying, no, help somebody else. But it's all in recognition. It's all about recognition. Where you're supposed to shine, someone else is not. And it's designed that way because if everybody wants to do what's popular at the time, we'll be missing a lot of stuff in this life. You see what I'm saying? Another thing that the Virgo full moon and the energy around us these days is saying is to get away from procrastination as far as you can. Stop procrastinating. Okay? Just don't do it. Now, I know that's easy to say, and I am a fellow procrastinator myself. But one of the greatest remedies I could have ever done, one of the greatest remedies I've ever come across is finding an accountability partner. Find somebody that's moving down the same path as you, that is serious, maybe more serious than you are. Because you're only serious in the moment. But your patterns suggest otherwise when it comes to hitting the grain. You see what I'm saying? So you find you an accountability partner. Because even if you're both flaky, maybe, now granted, in the perfect situation, only one person can be flaky. Because you want at least one person holding that stable drum beat. Okay? But if you're both flaky and it's the right chemistry, maybe you guys can still hold each other accountable to where it's, you guys are like, girl, did you do that? No, I didn't do that. Why didn't you do that? You know, and you can move like this together. Okay? Get you an accountability partner that you can meet up with at least once or twice a week around a certain thing. Let's say you want to sew something. You want to sew some pants or something, you know, and she wants to sew shirts. You guys are like, cool, we're in the same vein. All right, let's give each other homework. We have to stop being dominated by our inner child. Our inner child is the one that says, whoo, you're off of work. Let's sit down and just lose ourselves in Google and YouTube and Netflix. Not saying there's something always wrong with that, but I'm saying it's bad for the person that has a super divine and obvious purpose to go and spend 9 hours for someone else's thing, and then to come home and to pretend like you're giving yourself something back by watching Netflix for an hour or 2 hours or all night. So this is my point. If you can give somebody else 9 hours, why can't you challenge yourself to give yourself one good, solid hour every single day? At least every single weekday. Like say, nobody can mess with me during this time. And I'm going to work on my book. I'm going to work on my sewing. I'm going to work on my reading, work on my yoga. I'm going to work on whatever it is that I'm working on. And I'm going to stop lying to myself, acting like internet surfing is for me, because it's not for you. That's still for someone else. You're still entertaining someone else's ideas when you do that. Don't lie to yourself. Give yourself something. Put something in your own bank. Put something in your own savings account. Okay? Once again, with this Virgo energy, with this grounded energy we're talking about, this mutable energy, shape your reality so it can be so you can be your most effective self. We don't strive for perfection no more. Nobody even knows what perfection is. No one has a working definition of perfection that we can apply. Who's perfect? Nothing. No one. My mechanic ain't perfect, but he gets the job done, so he's effective. You see? My parents weren't perfect, but they got the job done, so I'm still here. All the tools that I have at my disposal are not perfect. But the conditions are so that they are effective. So let's stop aiming for perfection, because that might be another part of your procrastination. Some people just need you to show up as you are right now. One of the best ways to win is to show up. That's half of the thing. Sometimes I'll get invited to talk somewhere, get invited to do something. And you know what? I'm nervous sometimes. But you know what? I show up. And I realize in showing up, half the battle's already won. The rest of the battle was won through me making sure I have some accountability. Someone checking on me like, hey, that thing's coming up. Did you write this and that? Oh, yeah. Because you don't want to disappoint your accountability partner. And they don't want to disappoint you. Because one of the worst things, because there's two kind of procrastinations. I was watching some YouTube video a while back, and they were talking about there's two procrastinations. One is a procrastination of a project that has a deadline. That's where you procrastinate. And as soon as you get close to it, something triggers, like the week before, and you cram, and you finish it, right? That's one kind of procrastination, where you wait till the last minute, and then as soon as the pressure's on, you freak out, and you don't end up producing your best work, but you get it done. Okay, and people don't really know that you didn't give it your all. But then there's another one that's more dangerous. The agreements you made before you were born that have no deadline. There's no one holding you accountable, but you know deep in your soul that you're supposed to do this thing. You're supposed to start this group. We're supposed to write these songs, learn these prayers, do these certain things, make certain videos, and you never did it because there's no accountability. Just marinate on that. Marinate on it. You made an agreement to do something and you didn't because you procrastinated. You procrastinated all that destiny away. Let's not do that. Let's learn from Virgo. Let's get grounded. Let's stop trying to get things that we know aren't for us. Let's stop seeing the sweetness on the front of something, knowing that it leads to a bad path every single time, but we still keep reaching for the sweetness, ignoring the pattern. Let's get rid of this amnesia, okay? Let's get rid of this. Let's get our accountability partners in order. Let's get rid of this amnesia, okay? Do whatever you got to do, all right? That's all I have to say for today. My name is Montague Connolly, African-American shaman, A Root Awakening. Check us out on Patreon. Much love.